The fight between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk earlier this year was an intriguing tactical clash in which the small details led to very, very big outcomes. Obviously, Usyk won the fight, but it was very close and it was very competitive in every round, even though I thought Usyk won it by quite the distance. However, what I did, guys, was I made a tactical game film analysis video. You can go and watch it on my channel. Everything I talk about here is in that video. This is one of the chapters that I have extracted from that video. But here I want to talk about the importance of the Tyson Fury lead hand in this fight and how Usyk was able to utilize and take advantage of this detail in the fight. I've extracted that chapter, I've put it here. As I say, if you want to go and watch the full video where it kind of fits into the context of the entire fight, the link is in the description. But if you just want to watch this detail here, I'm going to get into it. It's up for you to decide whether or not you think this is something that Fury will continue to do in the rematch. I'll give you my thoughts and my opinions here. I'm going to be having a video coming up where I look at the rematch in more detail and I give you my opinion, my definitive opinion on how I think Fury should approach this rematch to give him the best chance of winning. But here, I just thought it'd be really interesting and important to take a look at that low lead hand, to take a look at how he used the lead hand and how Usyk was able to develop a set of tactics that allowed him to turn it into a weakness for Tyson Fury. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget to like the video. And by the way, if you do want to buy this fight, if you are enjoying my content, I'd really appreciate if you could support me and just use my DAZN link in the description to buy the fight. It won't cost you anything extra. It just means I get a little share of the percentage of a little percentage share, of the revenue on your purchase. That's all it means. And I'd really appreciate it because it helps to support my channel. But anyway, guys, without further ado, check out this video I made. And as I say, if you want to go and watch the full thing, link is in the description. Cheers. So I want to show you right here how Usyk set the tone from the fight, from the off. And the number one thing that Usyk was able to do throughout the entirety of these 12 rounds was land to Fury's body. He constantly hit him to the body. And they weren't always super impactful shots, but they were always scoring shots. So literally, this is the first moment in round one. They've come together, and straight away, the first thing you notice is instantly Usyk has got his front foot really close to Fury's. And as we all know, if your front feet are close to one another, you're probably in punching range. Now, certain fighters are good at moving at the hip and getting the head out of the way, but the body is likely going to be there. So as we edge it forward here, you see one little jump in from Usyk there. That's all it takes from him. One little step, boom. Shuffles forward with both feet. Fury extends the jab to try and control Usyk, and Usyk just slips right to the outside of it. And something you're going to see throughout my analysis here is if you imagine there's a line down the middle of Tyson Fury, Usyk is really, really good at getting his head off this line. Now, the place where that line really should be is down at Fury's jab hand. Because Fury boxes quite side on, typically, he's not a square fighter, that jab hand is often his first line of defense. He will extend it to try and keep you at range. He will use the jab as a touching jab just to feel where you are and move his feet and reposition accordingly. That jab hand is his first line of defense very, very often. So imagine that line is where Fury's jab is. Usyk is very, very good at getting his head off to this side of the line or this side of the line. He can go either way, protecting himself from being hit with that lead hand to stop Fury measuring the distance. It meant that Fury found it very, very hard to find his range. So on this occasion, you'll watch here, he's hopped in, he gets his head to the outside of the line this time, and he fires a backhand in straight away. And instantly, the moment the fight has begun, he's landed a good, strong backhand to Fury's midriff. And you can see there, Fury's jab hand is over the top of Usyk's shoulder. Usyk's head is down here. So he's got his head to the outside of that line. Now, I mentioned that we're going to be talking about Usyk's feints and Usyk's, defense, his hand positioning, his feet, all this stuff. This is hit here in the context of the stiff arm, in the context of Fury using his lead hand. When I say stiff arm, what I mean is this. When Fury extends his arm like this, and he just touches the guard there, you see? And it's for him to get his range, and it's to make it seem like, make Usyk feel like he can't get to Fury. Now, sometimes Usyk will get around this by dipping his head one side or the other, getting his foot close and stepping in. Other times, he'll just simply get Fury to rethink it. Look, he dips right. Fury has to think about it, because he knows, when Usyk does this little dip here, typically, he's firing the backhand to the midriff. So that's happened a few times already by this point in the fight. Comes up. Fury has to reposition. He reaches out again. Usyk dips down again. You see he dips down, and he circles the hand around here. So he could be going to the head. Fury doesn't want that. Fury backs off. Usyk dips again. He feints the body with the jab, and he follows him in. And all this means that Fury can't just stand there with his hand out and tee off on Usyk. He can't stop Usyk from coming in. And those little feints there, those little movements from Usyk, it makes Fury completely reset. It's one of the reasons that Fury couldn't walk forward with great effect in this fight. Very rarely did you see Fury on the front foot. And it's because Usyk's feet are so quick, his feints are so good. Fury was the reactive one in this fight for most of the fight. He wasn't being proactive with his offense. And it's definitely something we can talk about in the next video. But I think there's adjustments Fury can make there in mindset in particular that I think will help this fight for him. Again, here, another great example of it. Fury extends his arm, and he's just touching. He just wants to touch Usyk's lead hand here. Try and gauge the range. What does Usyk do? He dips. He makes an indecision. He dips. And you see the way he rotates this hand round in a circle. It's almost hypnotic. And the point with that is you never know when he's going to release it. Is it going high? Is it going low? And Fury then starts to have to try and track it because, as I say, this lead hand often for Fury is the first line of defense. That starts to track with it. You see, he's trying to touch it. And then while this is happening, watch what Usyk's doing with his feet. So watch this. He starts here. Lead foot comes forward, steps into range here. So now their feet are close, okay? Watch again. Fury takes a tiny little half step back. Usyk steps his back foot in and he pendulum steps into Fury's space. So he's closing the gap all the time, but Fury's not focusing on the feet. He's focusing on the hands. You see where his eyes are looking. They're looking straight at Usyk's guard. So we tap it forward here. Usyk dips down and he fires the body shot again. And that backhand to the body landed so many times. It wasn't always a really hurtful shot, but over the course of a fight, that is going to take something out of you, for sure, without question. And it's interesting, just before we continue, I've heard many people say that Fury wasn't fit enough for this fight, or wasn't fit for this fight. Dominic Ingle, an esteemed trainer of the Ingle Gym, said this. I think it's absolute nonsense. I think Tyson Fury was one of the fittest we've seen him in a very long time for this fight. He was his lightest weight since Vladimir Klitschko, all the way back, I think it was 2015 they fought. So it's an unbelievable thing to say that he wasn't fit. I think to be able to get through this fight, to get through the 12 rounds with the punishment Fury took, shows how fit he was. I think he was unbelievably fit for this fight. Last one, I'll show you this, and rest assured this happened throughout the fight, and it was something that really set the tone. What Usyk is doing here allowed him to have huge success later on, and I will explain that to you later in the video. But this is essential to Usyk's success later in the fight, to actually really hurting Tyson Fury. These shots don't seem like they're hurting Fury that much, but the sum of their parts results in Fury being very hurt. So I'll explain what I mean later, though. So watch here. Fury's in the corner. He's been backed up. Again, Usyk's feet, Usyk's feints. It's too much for Fury. Fury extends the arm. That's what he likes to do. What does Usyk do? He just gets his head off the line. Look, his head is to the outside of this hand. Perfectly meaning his body can rotate through this arm here. The point of rotation is there. Now, what I love about this one is you then see what happens. He comes back out. Fury's not moved. So he's like, right, I can go again. But rather than do the same thing again, because, of course, that would be easy to anticipate, Usyk goes, this time, I'm going to get my head off this way and bring my lead hand into play. So this time, you'll see, he gets his head over, goes inside the jab, and he lands that lead hand there. And again, like I say, his head's come over this way this time. The rotation means it's there, and he lands it. And I love that one because it shows him going both ways. And throughout the fight, he uses both of them. Rest assured, if you go and watch the fight, this strategy here for how he was able to get his feet close to Fury, able to step in with those body shots, this is what gave Usyk gave him the domination in the opening rounds. I mean, they looked close. They only look close if you don't score these body punches. I think a lot of people didn't score these body punches for some reason, but Usyk landed so many of these in the opening 3 rounds. Now, to continue the theme of talking about Fury's low lead hand, because, you know, it's something that he does. He carries his lead hand very, very low a lot of the time, and it allows him to be relaxed. It allows him to throw much more twitchy sort of flicking shots. That flick jab is something he likes to use a lot. We've seen him use a much more powerful jab where he steps through the opponent a lot more, but in particular in this fight, he was typically using a flick jab, which makes sense because it's faster and you can adjust it a bit more easily. You can throw it more in a more unorthodox fashion, which makes sense for someone with great head movement like Usyk, great feet like Usyk. You need to be very, very quick to hit him. But, and Fury did have some success with that low lead hand, which I will show you, but the problem with that is that, you know, either it's the extended arm as a first line defense. If not, he's carrying it low. He tries to use his shoulder. Usyk doesn't, you know, it's easy for him. He just steps in. And it's the same thing again. He lands the body shot there. And it's because this hand is down here. It's a very difficult thing for Fury to deal with this is what he always does with his lead arm. I think that he thought that his length, you know, the reason he does it is because normally he's too long for his opponents. Not only is he too long, but he has the better feet. In this fight, he didn't have the faster feet. He didn't have the better feet. And so he couldn't really get away with just carrying his arm that low for the entirety of the fight. And it just shows you whatever variation of that low lead hand Fury has, whether he's looking to, you know, touch you and use that stiff arm, we'll call it, or whether he's carrying his hand low and looking to fire the flick jab up, Usyk could go to the body in that situation. I'll show you the benefit of it here and quickly why Fury does it. So as he's backed up in the corner here, you see he's bouncing a little bit on his feet, and that was something he needed to do a bit more actually. And you see here again, Usyk is trying to create that same scenario. He's trying to get his head down. And he does there. He lands to the body. Again, that's the lead hand that time. Fury brings his guard up and then, look, touches. And this is where the variation of it is nice, and I think Fury needs to do this a bit more. See, this is when he's not... In this situation here, I feel like he's not following Usyk's lead as much. He's not sort of being hypnotized. So, hand is out. He drops it down, and very quickly from that drop-down position, he flicks the jab up. You see there? He flicks it up, and he catches Usyk. So he varies from having that long, straight arm where he can't really punch with it. It's just trying to feel you out and keep you off him. He turns it into a flick jab. Usyk does land again to the body there. And then Fury tries the right uppercut. And that is something that will be analyzed in a big way in this breakdown. So don't worry. We will talk about the Fury uppercut. But you can see there why Fury likes to carry that lead hand low. The problem is, more often than not, Usyk's head movement is too good. And he doesn't typically get hit by that during the fight. I want to show you this very quickly as well. And this is a very significant moment. I think this is in round 1, actually. And this is, it's just at the end of round 1. Very significant moment, this, because this is also something that shows you why Usyk had the strategy he had early on. So we watch here. We all know Tyson Fury's got fantastic head movement when he's focusing in the zone, when he's in that defensive mode. Feints the jab there. Usyk lands to the body as he does throughout these rounds. He tries to go upstairs, and this is the key thing here. Fury's not ready for it yet. He's not ready to receive those shots. What I mean by that is he's ready. Usyk's not ready to land them clean yet, or Fury's not ready to take clean punches yet. When you often say in a fight, oh, he's not ready to go yet. He's not ready. He's not ready to be knocked out. Well, this is another version of that. He's not ready for Usyk to land clean shots on it. I don't know if that makes sense. I keep saying it again because I'm not sure I'm making sense. But basically, the reason Usyk's investing so much in the body early on is because Fury will dodge most of those headshots. You see there, all the slips, the shoulder roll, rolls under there, gets away, and it's absolutely fantastic head movement from Tyson Fury. He does a little bit of showboating, which we will talk about as a separate point. But absolutely fantastic from Fury, the defense there. And quite simply, not ready yet. Not ready yet. Not ready to go to the head yet. And the body has been heavily invested in. And that is the reason why.